All right, let's pull up the Crazy Taxi World Tour announcement that was at the Xbox Games Showcase. We'll do a little deep dive on it here, but watch it through for the first time. I was starting to recognize it right there. I was like, that's the street from Crazy Taxi. And then once I clocked that, I was like, okay. And this is the music. This is a song that is core to the entire game. And it does appear to have some of the original fares that we saw as we were playing the game today, which is really cool. Some additional flair, lots of fire effects. Drifting looks a little easier, a little more fun. And then it shows the guy there, like, fishing a shark out of the bay. Like, we might have some, like, fun mini games to do while we're delivering fares. Or maybe you can catch something. And of course, some of the classic landmarks that we've seen around this San Francisco design city, like the parking garage that we crashed through. And this looks fun. Little pizza delivery there, trying not to spill the pizzas. Maybe there's a boost mode as well. That's what it looks like, which I don't think we've ever had a boost before. And of course, you have characters that are happy and characters that are upset. Now this character, so I thought this was and I just don't know enough. I thought it was a K-pop Demon Hunters homage or something, but I think what it is it's probably somebody, this is just my wild guess, is that this is probably someone like maybe a taxi driver from Japan, or the fact that she's not even in a taxi, maybe it's like, kind of where things have gone now, where it's like, you can freelance drive for a corporation and earn money by people paying through the app, sort of a modern thing here. So she sort of represents like the new age of what taxi driving has evolved into. And my guess is that maybe she's from Japan and she's like, firing off the text like, hey, it's time to roll, So it says check into your for your flight. Your passport is up to date. And then this is probably our new logo, maybe, for the world tour. I don't know. And she's out there. He's like, what? He looks confused. So let's talk a little more. I'll mute the trailer as it continues playing here. So what is core to Crazy Taxi? It's the soundtrack, the punk rock, that specific song, by the way, and also like San Francisco, their created world that they sort of tried to capture, key landmarks and just iconic locations, and just the fun of being like a rebellious taxi driver that drives like old hot rods and muscle cars and all sorts of, classic cars that Americans have a lot of nostalgia for. I don't know how this will evolve in World Tour, but that's what's exciting about this, is that we may be able to customize our own taxi or like pick which car we want to drive. I've heard rumors that the story is that Axel's taxi gets stolen or something and he has to go earn it back. We might even see different camera modes, which would be really exciting for people that have a steering wheel. You might want to pop into first-person mode or something like that. Having modern cars could be exciting as well. But I mean, everything they've shown here in terms of like, these like flashes of what look like pieces of gameplay here, it's all core to the Crazy Taxi experience. Like, it's all about drifting around corners and barely missing cars to get coins and stuff. So I'm glad to see those features return. And I think you do kind of need the classic modes to return, where it's like, hey, I only got like 10 minutes, let me load up Crazy Taxi and get a few fares done. Something you could do while you're in the waiting room, or, you're sitting on the bus or the train or something, pull out your Nintendo Switch and then, start delivering fares, or whatever platform you want to play on. You want that quick, short experience, but it also looks like maybe, given this cutscene here and given some of the rumors here, maybe we're in for a bit of a story mode. Maybe we're going to add some lore to Axel and some of the other characters that exist in this world, which I think is really cool. Because there were several sequels. There's Crazy Taxi 1, 2, and 3, which are the ones I really engage with the most. I know they've had like mobile games and other things, but I wasn't really able to connect with any of those games in the way that I did with the arcade game, the Dreamcast game, and every single time that they ported it, GameCube and otherwise, and picked it up here on Steam and all that. So I think they're nailing everything that they need to nail so far. So I think they've nailed everything they need to so far. But, what else do they need? I think a free roam mode would be really fun, where there's like no time pressure, but it's like you could just keep picking up fares, and there would be time limits for each fare, but like maybe no overall time limit. That way you could kind of just like cruise around, get to know the city, listen to some tunes, and this could be your chill game that you load up at the end of a hard work day or school day or something like that, whatever it is. Just load up and drive around. I think that would be fun. I've also seen some gameplay online, which I might have a trailer of, but it looks like there's going to be races against like rival cab drivers as well. Okay, I didn't find the footage of him racing other cab drivers, but there is a little gameplay here just to kind of give you a little sample of what it looks and feels like, which, yeah, like trying not to crash so you don't lose all the pizza, stopping at each little location here. That's pretty cool. And still trying to make sure you're delivering things fast and, doing all the flair stuff of drifting and whatnot. I don't know why the resolution is so bad, but yeah, it looks like it has the music locked down. I don't think we're getting better than 720 here. But yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, seeing the drift take place. Even seeing this at the end here where the car speeds up. Because like normally when you try to like peel out after you've pulled a 180, you get like a little boost there. So yeah, it does look like here in the bottom right corner, maybe that's like a boost bar or a nitro bar, and we have like the classic drive and reverse controls. We got the timer, and it looks like we have like a bunch of sub-objectives here for this particular fare, which I think is really cool. I really dig that. But yeah, overall, I'm very excited for this. So thinking of other game modes, I think, like I said, kind of a free roam-ish mode without the time limit would be really fun. Having lots of battle modes and challenges. I know they've sort of talked about the idea of like there being multiplayer. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. Like it could be fun to compete against your friends. But I know we heard rumors a long while back about there being like a battle royale mode. I think that's just that's a fad and kind of trend chasing type thing. It wouldn't kill me, but it certainly wouldn't be a feature I would be excited for. They even sort of floated the idea of there being like a cops and robbers type thing where it's like, you're delivering fares and breaking traffic laws while you're doing so. Would it be fun if there were an AI or player-controlled police car chasing you? That could be really cool too. So that could be lots of really fun ways. Or if you just want to like load up and deliver fares with your friends across the city and just crash into each other on occasion, or just compete to see who gets the highest score by the end of the round, like that could be really fun. And of course, like having freedom of customization over the music, maybe even your character and their clothes, the car, being able to customize your own cab would be really cool. As far as locations, I know we got San Francisco here. I think they need to just aim for like iconic cities. I obviously have a theory that the driver that shows up at the end of the trailer is like saying, hey, let's fly to Japan, let's deliver some fares over there. There's also probably, I think New York would be an exciting location. It's very iconic, lots of taxi cabs, lots of traffic. It would be interesting to see certain landmarks in the city depicted. That would be iconic. Miami Beach wouldn't be bad. Thinking about locations around the world, maybe have a level that's based on London. Maybe even have something a little more exotic. Maybe we head to like Cairo, Egypt. That way you're representing like something from every continent. Maybe you have a level that takes you across the Great Wall of China, while crashing through cities and countryside and stuff like that. I don't know. It's really anything that they feel like doing. They could put us in Hawaii and have us cruising around there as well. I think that would be exciting. Just think of iconic locations around the world and how they could adapt various fictional and real life elements into these cities to make them exciting and drivable. And I just think for the original Crazy Taxi, the nostalgia of this original design of this like San Francisco city, it was so well interpreted because it had everything. It had like the slopes that we know of that go downhill that we could just fly down. And it has, the busy downtown districts like shopping mall you can go crashing through, parks and fields and all sorts of things. So it's got the verticality that we're used to from these big cities and stuff. And it was really well interpreted, I would say. So I would like to see something like that. I think that would be really cool. Lots of cool cities, lots of cool characters, cool cars. And it looks like they captured the vibe and they have the music and the looks and everything look on lock. And it looks like they're taking it up to the next level. I mean, having a boost, being able to drift a little easier, because like it's not that drifting wasn't a thing, but you couldn't get into these like super long drifts. You were more or less just flying around a corner or braking around a corner, and you just kind of drifted out of coincidence. So, I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's one of my most anticipated games now because I love Crazy Taxi. I grew up playing Crazy Taxi, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and I miss playing it. I play it every now and then for that hit of nostalgia, but I think without the original soundtrack, going back to the original game on Steam is not the same. Whereas on the console versions, they, especially with the old consoles, it's like they can't really get at it through online updates and delete those iconic songs that made this game what it is, the soundtrack that created Crazy Taxi, because it's everything. It's everything that's a part of that original game especially, but 2 and 3 came up with really cool ideas and locations, fun and wacky characters and interesting fares, like the Las Vegas showgirls that would hop in the backseat, all those cool things. Vegas wouldn't be a bad location either, but I'm trying not to let the U.S. dominate the world tour. You need to have a lot of locations, and of course, with today's like DLC fueled world, maybe they could add things post launch. Maybe it's not necessarily that everything needs to be in the game at launch, but maybe they could add new maps and new characters and cars or colors or whatever they want to do, any sort of flair, or if there are various collabs that want to happen with other games or other franchises or car brands or whatever it may be. I dig it. So I think it looks and sounds cool. I think it delivers on the nostalgia. And I'm very excited to learn more about this game. So if you want to learn more about Crazy Taxi, share your favorite stories of playing Crazy Taxi in the comments. Let us know if you would like to play Crazy Taxi for the first time now after seeing some of the gameplay, seeing some of these trailers and footage here. Let me know what you think. So until next time, take care, be safe, and we'll see you on those streets.